Most people, when they turn 16, 17, they get a car. I got my glider license and I flew.
I like being around the people that are involved. It's definitely a community sport. You can't fly a glider by yourself. You need a ground crew, you need a tow pilot, you need instructors. And so I love just being part of that community as well.
These are the proposed taxiway changes at the Minden-Tahoe Airport according to the airport master plan. The areas in red are existing asphalt taxiways that are scheduled to be destroyed and removed and returned to dirt. The yellow taxiways are brand new taxiways that will be built in their place. The existing asphalt that you can see in these images will remain the same if it's not colored red or yellow. The only area that makes any sense to the local pilots is this unused taxiway here, which is actually closed. It serves no purpose and nobody ever uses it. So if they take that away, that's fine. Nobody has a problem with that. All the other taxiway changes don't make any sense to the local pilots. To the glider pilots, the most concerning area is this red area right here, which is the terminus of Taxiway Charlie. This is Taxiway Charlie all along here, and it comes into this area. And so all this area is going to be torn up and removed, and that's what concerns us the most of this whole plan. So the view of the airport is such, and we're looking at that same area that was colored in red. So all of this area here gets removed, and this taxiway Alpha 3 gets removed as well. And then they produce new taxiways down over here instead. And so we use this area to stage our gliders and be ready to go from here, and then we tow out onto the runway for takeoff. So we get out there by towing our gliders with our cars, and most of us are in these hangars down here, and we tow out onto Taxiway Charlie right here, which is your typical narrow taxiway, and our wings overhang into the dirt, and there are also blue reflectors spaced all the way along here. And one glider was seriously damaged when the wing hit one of those reflectors this past summer. So this is always pretty dicey towing along here. It's kind of scary for us to do that. By the time we get up into here, it widens out, and now we pretty much have it made all the way along here and on out into these green areas, and we can stage our gliders in here or in here and be out of the way, because other aircraft have plenty of other areas, the taxiways that they can taxi on where we're not blocking them. So it works very well between glider and airplane traffic. So we tow out into this area here, and our wings pretty much go all the way across this area. The normal taxiway width is quite narrow, and it means that our wings hang off into the dirt on both sides. And if there's signs or obstructions, then we have to be very careful that we don't hit those with our wings. So we tow out into this area with our cars, and then we unhitch the glider. We drive back our cars back into the tie-down area and leave our cars next to a trailer here, walk back out to the plane, and then put on our parachutes and get the instruments all configured, and we climb into the glider and we buckle our belts and get ready to go. At the same time, a golf cart from Soaring NV, who manages the towing operations, comes out, meets us, hooks on to the glider with a little short tow rope, and start towing the glider out to runway 34. At the same time, the tow plane has been warming up its engine out over here, and the tow plane taxis out from Alpha 3 taxiway at the same time, and we meet up out onto the runway. The glider's turned and pointed down the runway. The tow rope is hooked up to the glider, and off we go down the runway on runway 34. We do this when the winds are out of the north or the northeast, when we can't use our preferred runway 30. If the winds are out of the south, we again tow the glider out in position. The tow plane comes out and around us and parks here, and we pull the glider in behind it and do the same hookup procedure and tow to the south on runway 16. When we are towing our gliders to the glider staging area over here, then we make this big corner. We don't stop here to stage, because now we're going to stage in the staging area. And so we cross the runway 34, and we've got lots of asphalt here to make this wide sweeping turn around the corner and safely tow our gliders into the glider staging area. With the new setup, what we're going to have to do, since remember all this is now gone, it's been destroyed, taken away, so now we're going to have to tow into this position, make a sharp right turn, make a sharp left turn, and taxi out along this narrow taxiway with our wings hanging off in the dirt and our wing wheels in the dirt, and in preparation for takeoff on runway 34. The tow plane cannot be out here with us because there's no room. So the tow plane is going to have to taxi out to runway 30 and back taxi on 30, then back taxi on 34, then lock up one of its brakes on one side, spin the plane around 180 degrees, then have the tow rope attached to the glider and towed away. And because this is so narrow, so confined, it's going to take twice as long as it does from this area. We're going to be out there for a good 5 minutes getting all this together. If we're towing on runway 16, meaning we want to go this way, there's not enough runway left. So this is enough reduction in runway length right here that we cannot pull out here and take off this direction on 16. There's not enough runway left. So what we're going to have to do is tow down Taxiway Alpha, down along here, and pull out onto this taxiway or all the way down to the end and take off from the end of 16 going this direction. But remember, we're towing with our cars, so we tow our glider down to this area and we unhitch our cars, and now we got our glider and our car. There's nowhere to leave cars down here, so we have to ferry our cars back to the tie-down area, and then somehow we have to get ourselves back down the taxiway and back to our glider again. So either we have to get another ride from another vehicle or a golf cart, or ride an electric scooter and then hide the scooter in the bushes or something like that in order to get back down to our glider. And all of this operation with the tow plane and the golf carts all has to go all the way down here to hitch us up and take us up on 16. Because again, we can do it both directions from right here. We can take off on 16. We can take off on 34. And there's plenty of room in here to get the job done safely, easily, without any drama. So if we're towing to the glider staging area on 30, over here, then that means that, again, we make these sharp turns, we come across here, we cross the runway, our wing wheel is dragging in the dirt, rolling through the stickers, we make this turn, we have another sharp turn to make before we're safely in the staging area. And then once we're in the staging area, hopefully we didn't get a flat, but we will have run our little bicycle wing wheels in the dirt for so long that a flat tire is almost assured. And we could easily get a flat tire crossing the runway and be stuck on the runway with a flat tire. So the way things are now keeps us on the pavement. It keeps us out of trouble. We're quickly across the runway and heading down 30. If we did have any problems, we're completely clear of 34, which is most of the powered aircraft take off and land on 34, and we're only there briefly on our way by. So we don't encounter any blockages of traffic when we're doing this, but with the new plan we're probably going to be blocking the runways for longer periods of time. We're going to have flat tires. It's just not going to work. It's going to be a disaster. Okay, now let's look at glider landing patterns. And I'm afraid to say that the situation for landing a glider with this new taxiway setup is even worse than taking off. So when the winds are out of the south, we land our gliders on runway 16, and we come in this direction towards the south, landing into the wind on runway 16. And when we get into the intersection area here, we can turn and pull off into here. Most gliders do not have steerable tail wheels. That means we're very restricted in our turning radius and our ability to turn. So this turn right here is about all that we can do. So we're going to be looking at a video of a GPS recording of an actual glider landing on runway 16 and pulling into this green area. Now the aspect changes a little bit, so even though this is left to right in the video, we're going to see it's going to be top to bottom, but it's going to be this same turn right here. So you can see as the glider slows down after landing on 16, it gradually makes this gentle turn into the green area, the staging area, and crosses the taxiway and comes to a stop well away from the runway and other traffic so that other aircraft can land. Now in the next example, we're going to look at a glider landing on runway 30. And so the glider's going to come along here on 30 and make this turn into the green staging area again. But this is a much sharper turn, and you'll see that this glider is just barely able to make this turn into the staging area, but it is able to clear the runway and get off. And now the glider pilot is going to have to get out of the plane, rotate it, and push it further into the staging area, clear of the runway. Now, if the taxiways are changed, and we don't have these red areas anymore to deal with, what's going to happen is if we're landing the glider on runway 16, the glider's going to taxi across here, and it's just going to have to stop right here in the middle of the runway. And it's going to be really difficult for a single person to rotate the glider and push it off here. Remember, one wing drags in the ground, and this basically isn't going to work. So somebody is going to have to come from the tie-down area out on the taxiway and over to the runway to help maneuver this plane, walk it by its wingtip, and walk it along the taxiway, and then hitch up to a golf cart or a car to tow it in. And then the same thing with landing on runway 30. The glider is going to stop right here in the middle of the runway, and it's going to have to get a glider tow on either down here and around the corner, or pushed backwards, hitched onto the car, and then again into the tie-down area, which is going to take a lot of time, and it's going to block runway 1634 for a considerable amount of time. So, hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.